All right, YouTube, what's happening? I've got a new knife today that I am pretty excited about, and it's all hyped up right now, and everyone's trying to snag one, and the secondary prices are nuts. Yeah, talking about CKF knives, Custom Knife Factory Evo to Rotten Designs Evolution 2.0. There's my information there, 217. Made on 121 M390 on this guy. This is the plain titanium version. So, wow, this knife is all the hype right now, and I kept seeing it popping up everywhere, and I was like, ooh, I really like that. I love the way that knife looks. And I like the original one, but it was huge, too big for me to want to carry. So when they came out with the Evo 2.0, made it smaller, more, I think, EDC friendly. I was like, yes, please. Then I saw the price tag and I was like, no thanks. And I'm not talking about the price tag they sold for originally, because that would be more reasonable. I'm talking about the secondary size price tag of these is nutty right now. So, however, I kept looking at it and seeing them pop up, and they were just too expensive. Then I saw one pop up for what I would consider a decent price, not tons over MSRP. And then what do? They did another quick drop, and I missed out on that. So I could have saved some money, but that's okay. I've got it in hand now, and I got to tell you, this thing, first impressions, whoa. I see what the hype train is about on this knife. Now, when I first saw this, I thought, man, that looks so much like one of my favorite knives, a Strider. Tell me that you don't see the similarities here. Obviously, different knives. Different blade shape, more belly here, but the handle shape, it doesn't have the jimping back here, but it's kind of similar how it rounds off right there. The choils, right? You see what I'm saying? There's a lot of similarities. The opening hole, and I'm not saying by any means that this, is meant to be some kind of SNG copy, not at all. But I'm just saying there's a lot of design similarities, and I'm sure he got some of his design, his elements from Strider, because it looks very much like Strider. And that's why I like it, though. It looks like a really awesome Strider. Like, to me, it looks like another Strider model. And I immediately was drawn to it because of that. So that's what drew me to it. Lots of similarities. Lots of size similarities, too. In fact, since we're speaking about the SNG, I mean, this is pretty much the same size knife. If you put them side by side, the SNG might be a tad longer in the handle, but not by much. Now this is full titanium, so it is going to be heavier. The carbon fiber version I would have loved to get because it'd be lighter. This guy weighs in at 5 ounces on the dot. It is milled inside too, so it would be even heavier. There is some nice milling pockets inside. Let me just verify that weight. Take it off my pad there. Yep, 5 ounces on the dot. SNG, pretty similar. Want to say 5.1. Whoa, the similarities continue, guys. So, I find the SNG is about the biggest knife that I like to carry in my rotation. I do carry them often, though. I really enjoy them. So, that's why the size of this appealed to me, big time. Yeah, so first impressions, that's what this video is. It's hard to make first impressions when you pay so much for a knife. I didn't pay what other people are paying, I don't think, but I also didn't pay retail, so it's kind of in between there. And I'm like, is it worth that much money? And it's hard, but putting that aside, price aside, I use that in my daily work all the time. Price aside, knife, let's pretend that I paid normal price or just not even thinking about price. How, first impressions, incredible. Like, such a cool knife. Like, so comfortable in the hand, well-rounded in the handle shape. Again, very Strider SNG-esque handle. Fits my hand, which is medium size, so well. And both, initially when I grab it, your initial, I think, natural reaction is going to be to grab up by the choil. But holding it back here is fine. Holding it right here, I can't find a grip that's not comfortable. Like, that's it's got that good of ergos. Hammer grip is fine. You know, just whatever grip you use it in. Nice jimping, very Strider-esque as well. If you look at the jimping patterns on both these knives, tell me and how it comes back to here on both knives. Very, very similar. So again, a lot of similarities, which is what drew me to it. So very cool knife. The grind on this thing though, wow. I mean, that belly and that freaking grind is just crazy. I've got to imagine that it's pretty thin behind the edge, and we're going to find out right now. It's very sharp out of the box for sure. And again, I got this secondary market, so. Ooh, 13 thousandths on a production knife? Come at me with that, bro, because that's awesome. Haha, man. So edge geometry for days. I mean, look at that. Look at it. It's gonna cut so well, but it's a big, beefy, tanky knife. Yeah, you can do that. It doesn't matter how thick this blade stock is. When it tapers down to that thin of an edge, it's still gonna cut better than most knives. So I like that. That's another thing that drew me to that blade grind was just impressive. So I am absolutely super impressed. I love the texturing on the tie. When I saw plain tie, I was like, eh. But then I saw this, then I'm like, I didn't really expect this texturing. I was like, ooh, I really like that texturing. That gives it more of a custom looking finish. I mean, honestly, if I didn't know this was made by a custom knife factory, I would think this is probably a custom knife. It's that good. They did an excellent job. The action, ridiculous. It's a guillotine. It's got a big heavy blade, so you really got to get your finger out of there, or else you're gonna get it cut. It is pretty wide as far as how it's gonna carry in the pocket. It's gonna be a pocket hog because it is rather wide. If we measure to the widest points, we're well over that inch market at 1.5, almost 1.6 inches. So it's very wide in the pocket. It's gonna be a little heavy, so for some guys it might be too much. The clip is nicely sculpted. It follows the line of the knife extremely well, and it didn't create any hot spots that I can feel so far. Haven't really used it though, so we'll know more when I actually put it through its paces. But I like the geared back spacer. That's nice. I mean, everything about this. The carbon fiber version would probably be my most ideal version because it would lighten the knife up quite a bit. But so if anyone wants to trade a carbon fiber for a full tie, just let me know and I would be down to do that. But I'm happy to have snagged one, period, because they're super hard to get right now. So yeah, this thing is an absolute beast, and we'll definitely see pocket time without a doubt. You know what's also cool is the finish on the flats up here. They actually kind of mirror the finish on, let's see if you can tell that. It's hard to see in camera, but just the finish on the handle matches these flats. Then you have this nice satin swedge here, and then that obviously beautiful grind. That's so nice. So I mean, this is great. One thing I noticed is the pivot is huge. It's a T15. So I was like flipping it when I was on a meeting for work today, and I noticed it came a little loose. So I was like, wait, what freaking size bit is that? That's bigger than a T10. It's a T15. The handle screws are T10s. So big old beefy pivot, beefy stop pin. This knife is meant to be used and abused, guys. This is a user for sure, which for the price point, I know a lot of guys probably won't use it. One thing I love about custom manufacturer too is they give you spare parts, man. Look at those multi-row bearings. You've got an extra pivot, some extra washers for the bearing tracks. You've got an extra lock bar insert. There's that stop pin. I mean, it is beefy. Look at that sucker. Yeah, I love how they do that though. You have extra hardware for the knife. So for some reason this lock bar insert ever wore out on me, I could replace it pretty easily. which is awesome. So this knife is definitely one that I'm pretty hyped on. I know a lot of people are hyped on. I see the hype. Again, price aside. Now, I'll wait for my full review to decide value on this guy. Again, I overpaid. Not as bad as a lot of people have been. I've been seeing these go for $900 for the Zerk, edition. Even these titaniums, $850. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's a lot. But you think about what the secondary market is on this knife, the Strider ATAX or any SNG, they're in the same ballpark. The difference being is these are made in the USA. So that's, a plus. But it's similar. It's a lot of similarities in the secondary market, a lot of similarities in the designs, but that's why I like it, though. I mean, it's, there's not going to be a knife out there that doesn't have some design influence from another designer. So I would say that's the form of flattery. It's not like they're making clones or anything here. They're just, there is some definite similarities between the two. And some people might not see it, but if you're a Strider guy, you're going to see it. You're going to notice them right away. And I think a lot of Strider guys are going to love this knife. If you're a big fan of the SNG, you will definitely dig this guy. All right, guys, that's my first impressions. It's super drop shut. It's so solid feeling, just so comfy in the hand. This is definitely getting a lot of pocket time. Even though it's a little bit of a tank, I'm okay with that. 5 ounces isn't too bad. A little wide in the pocket again, but again, I can get over that. So, all right, guys, thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you next time.